Gonna walk by behind Steve. I don't know what's happening. I'm just gonna scratch him on the head. That is a good boy, and then kind of walk on.
Yep. Yep, it's great.
Oh, sorry, bud. And he'll toss a ration at him.
And he like quickly like leans down and eats it, and he's like, "That's fine."
Yeah, so I'll cast it and just hi Steve, Laya here.
Make an animal handling check.
15.
And you see like he puts the cigarette out. No, he kind of like just cocks his head over towards you and like looks you up and down. And just kind of like sits back. And he just kind of waits for a second to see if you're going to feed him.
Do I understand that that's what he's doing?
I mean, you've seen him do it a bunch, and you know he knows now that he's been patient enough that if he waits, you feed him to get on his good side. So he just sits there for a second.
I'll toss him a snack.
He eats it very happily. And he sits back down and looks at you. What do you want to say to him?
I just wanted to check in, make sure you're doing all right, that you didn't need anything. See how you're feeling.
And he kind of like looks at you and then just kind of like looks at the city that he's in and looks at like the cobblestone below his feet, and he's like, I hate it here.
I know, it's not great.
No.
Don't worry, we're trying to get out of here as soon as we can.
So this is weird. Yeah,
It's also my first time. And also, just so you know, I can only do this once a day. Or
So
rather,
expect a lot of chats.
once per rest, I suppose. So maybe we should come up with like a signal of like, if you do something, then I know that you have something to say.
yeah, sure.
He's like, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to give you my phone number.
Yeah, so if you just go ahead and I'll put my number in your phone, and when you call it, it's just going to go straight to voicemail, so don't worry about it.
Phone number is 6 digits.
Yeah, sure. What do you want me to do?
You don't like this, do you?
It is it's my favorite. I love every second of it.
Just gonna walk by behind Steve. I don't know what's happening. I'm just gonna scratch him on the head. That is a good boy, and then kind of walk on.
Yep. Yep, it's great.
Oh, sorry, bud. And he'll toss a ration at him.
And he like quickly like leans down and eats it, and he's like, "That's fine."
I don't hear a word. I just keep walking.
Yeah, you just like you hear just these like little like the grunts as he's eating, and just like this little like a not a coo, but like kind of just like the same kind of like sound, but a little bit like deeper.
Mm.
All right. Well, I can see that I have wasted your time, and I'm so terribly sorry. And I am doing a terrible job of hiding how hurt I am that he does not like me. Um, and I'll just yeah. So cheers, and I'll just back away and start following
Uh,
Emmerin.
I have a question about Speak with Animals. Do you cast it on a specific animal, or does it affect the caster and they can just speak with any animal?
Pretty sure it affects the caster.
Yeah, I think that it's everything. I'm going to clarify just to make sure, but I'm pretty positive that, yeah, you gain the ability to comprehend and verbally communicate with beasts for the duration.
Okay.
Which is 10
Target
minutes.
itself. Yeah.
As you back away, Max kind of makes eye contact with you, and he says, "Bring me a carrot, you insufferable woman."
Oh, absolutely, Max. Whatever you need. And I'm like choking back tears.
And you see you see Steve kind of like look over at Max, and he's like, "We talked about this. We've talked about this."
I am a war hero, and I will not be killed by some sort of upstart bear creature.
Oh my god.
Look.
He's Quebecois.
Yeah, of course he is.
You don't have to get him a carrot. He
Is Maxime?
a very he's spoiled. He's
Killed a man with my hoofs once.
This man, he drinks so much.
I beat him just to watch him die.
He did not even do anything to me.
You really don't have to. You don't have to do that.
I'm just gonna run away crying.
Look, you see what you start running off, you see what you've done? This is all your fault.
She was weak. She was weak, Stephen.
And as Lia's running away, Orlo calls after like, "Lia, what's wrong?"
Steve hates me.
What do you mean?
So as you say that, as you're running away, make a perception check.
12.
So you hear him like just as like kind of you start running off. You start hearing oh no, you don't. You don't hear your footsteps. You start just hearing like the crowd as you kind of like get a little bit further away. But you hear him start to say, and then you just like kind of cuts off.
Okay.
Sir Roland, you hop on Max and head to the church.
Good boy, Max.
You
Scratching behind his ears.
You see Steve just kind of like slowly like. And Emmerin, what are you doing at this? Are you gonna stay with Lia?
I'm gonna go with Lia to this guy's office.
Okay. And then Orlo, you're going to do the potions.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to do the potions.
Okay. Let's start with that. Orlo, as you kind of all go your separate ways, you make your way back into the first floor of the large mage tower, and you step on to the teleportation pad. What is it that Orlo thinks about in this moment, just out of curiosity?
Oceans.
So you teleport, and you're standing now. You can tell that it's definitely not up that you went. You went down. And you can tell because it's kind of got that like basement feeling, right? Like it's kind of like a little damp. It's a little cooler. Not in a bad way. It's not uncomfortable because obviously they use magic to keep it pleasant for people to be there. But you, especially, somebody who's familiar with the outdoors, but also specifically some of these, that subterranean feel. You know that you're underground, and in front of you, you kind of look around, and it is a sprawling lab of potions and alembics and alchemy equipment and herbs hanging and drying from the ceiling, and just it looks like a science lab, basically, right? It's just all open, and you see people mixing potions and working on things. And what is it that Orlo does?
Yeah, Orlo just walks in, is kind of in awe at all the ingredients around, and just kind of starts poking around, like taking things, looking at them, maybe taking out his book and sketching different plants, flowers, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the younger people, kind of not as fancy as the robes you've been seeing the last couple of people that you've talked to, just very plain. They kind of look over at you and they're like, can we help you?
Oh yeah. I was told to see Finnegan about maybe learning how to make a couple new potions.
Oh, yeah, certainly. And he kind of like sets himself up and like looks around a little bit, and he like steps on top of like one of the chairs. He's like, oh, he's in the back over there. He's looks like he's working on something. I don't know. But yeah, if you just go over, I'm sure he'd be happy to help you. You seem very intrigued by everything.
Oh yeah, of course. Cool. Thanks for the information, and hopefully I'll see you around. And by the way, I'm Orlo, and I kind of just start walking over to Finnegan.
When did Orlo get polite?
Listen, when nobody's around to see, what Orlo does is his own business.
He's learning.
He's adapting. So as you walk through, you're kind of like peeking through all these potions and things that, the kettle's brewing, and you catch smells and or looking at all the different herbs and ingredients, and a lot of this stuff is obviously things you've never seen before. You see a couple of things from the books that you've been reading, and you recognize some of the ingredients and some of the things from your research. And you walk over into the corner, and Master Finnegan's sitting there, and he's like dipping like herbs in this like solution and pulling them out and like looking at them and making notes. And he's just, like I said, just working through that.
So Orlo just kind of just stands by and kind of watches what he's doing, holding his book out, and making notes here and there of different maybe techniques, just generalities that he can see, and doesn't want to interrupt. So he just kind of sits there and watches and takes it in.
Gotcha. So you see, Master Finnegan is he's an older humanoid. He looks possibly just completely human, but it's hard to tell. He's a little bit older. His hair is kind of like scraggly and long and falls over his ears, and see it's hanging over his face as he's like writing in his book, and he like flips it back as he's writing and dipping things. And after a few minutes of you standing there and making notes, he kind of like, you see him stop and pause, and he kind of like cocks his head up to the side and sees like where your waist is, and then like kind of to see the whole way up to the top of you, and he's like, oh, yes, what can I do for you?
Oh yeah. we were talking to Giller, and he said that you might be able to teach me how to make a couple new potions. I'm kind of just getting started, and I know how to make sleeping potions and healing potions, but I was looking for something maybe a little bit more experimental and exciting. Um, I could show you what I know so far, and I kind of like hold out my book open to some of my notes and drawings.
So when you say experimental and exciting, you see this almost like evil, like Grinch grin kind of like start to spiral up into his mouth. And he's like, oh, well, yes, I could, I'm sure we could find something for you. And he like reaches over and grabs your book and starts flipping through it. And he goes, and you said you're just getting started. This is quite an extensive catalog of plants and information. You've done well so far.
Yeah, well, since I've been here, I've been doing a lot of traveling, so I've seen a lot. It's really the only thing I do to pass the time, and we're traveling between cities, so.
And he like is just flipping through the pages for a few minutes, and as he finishes up, he looks up to you and he goes, "So, what are you looking for?" And I know you said nothing specific, but what are you looking for?
So, well, like as you can see from my notes, I know what a lot of these ingredients are. I just don't know what they do, and it looks like you have a ton around here. Um, I was really hoping and thinking that it would be useful for me and my my partners, my travel companions, to be able to make people a little bit more cooperative when we're talking to them.
Interesting. That's doable. Very doable. And he kind of like looks around and he grabs a couple of ingredients and kind of lays them out on this table on like this cloth in front of you. And he lays them out so that you can like really see what they are and, assume that he was going to let you draw them or however you've been taking the notes that you have. He lays them out in front of you, and he grabs some of them like in their actual like the plant in like a potted plant and shows them to you so that you can see like the way that they grow. And he starts walking you through the process of how to like crush up certain ones of them and boil them and steep these ones and do this, and through the whole process of distilling it down into just basically what would be the equivalent of like a charm person potion.
Okay. And Orlo just like is vigorously taking notes the entire time, all the ingredients, all the processes, very detailed, just totally enthralled with it. And I do ask him like, so if I use this, I just need to get them to drink it. Is there a way to disguise the taste, or could you recommend a way to do that?
Well, there's a couple of different things. And he lists off a few ingredients, which are things that are very either powerfully taste very strong to mask it, that aren't like as bitter or bad tasting, and also you could just always put it in some form of alcohol. Not too much, because no, it should be fine. It should be fine. But yes, the alcohol should take care of it.
Perfect. That works great for me. You don't know how much you've helped.
So this takes the course of quite like an hour or so, and as you kind of finish up, he's like, "Oh, most certainly, it's my pleasure. These are the types of things that I enjoy doing the most. Let me." And he kind of like looks around, and he grabs a small stack of papers, and he looks at you and he goes, do you have a few more moments?
Oh, of course.
And he just like reaches over and like yanks one of the people that are working, like just grabs them by the shoulder and pulls them over, and he hands them these stack of paper and goes, copy these. Don't make a mistake. You know what happens if you do. Go.
Oh, I like that move. I know that move. I like that.
I should have went with Orlo. Someone's gonna lose a thumb, man.
Master Finnegan is 100% a freak.
So he comes back. He hands you these stack of papers after a little bit of time goes by, and it's just some more notes and some more potions that I'll send you the list of. But it's just some other like more fun experimental things that are in the same vein of what you're looking for to open up some closed doors every now and then.
Literally or figuratively?
Could be
Magic, baby. Who knows?
We're concerned with a specific door that needs a little hand wavy open sesame nonsense.
I'm a wizard. One of those.
I really want us to go down there and roll and just do that at the door.
So he hands me extra potions that I don't necessarily know what they do.
Yeah, it's just like a stack of papers.
A stack of papers on how to make potions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's like the same process it's his notes that he's making on some things that he's been working on.
Okay. And I'm just like, oh, this is great. This is great. I would love to work with you more. This is, I think we could have a lot of fun together, mixing things up. So, and Orlo kind of like tucks them away in his pack, and he kind of turns around and like flashes the charm on his bag, and he's like, "Don't forget, stay juicy," and then just like starts trotting away.
Stay juicy, y'all.
It was right there. It was right there.
always
I had to
is.
steal it. I had to steal it.
Okay,
You
can
told
we get
me my charm said juicy. I can't let that go. That's all I know.
We need to commission an artist. It's just a pair of gray butt cheeks and in cursive writing, "Stay juicy, y'all." It will sell like Orlo's hotcakes. I'm just saying.
For anybody, yeah, for for the character with the most cakes in this campaign, I figure it's appropriate. So that's his catchphrase.
Amazing. So he he's like, any time that you're around, please feel free to come back. And this is where we'll pivot. Emmerin and Laya, you guys kind of walk in a little bit before. Well, Laya, you dart in. Emmerin, you follow kind of closely behind her as you and Orlo kind of walk in side by side a little bit, and Laya goes up and
And I keep saying to Roland, like, there's more to life than A1. Like, we could just go somewhere fun, every now and then and do something other than save the world, kill all the people. I mean, come on, you want to have a good time too, Laya, don't you? It's not all doom and gloom over here.
I'm just like nodding and trying to hold back tears.